I don't think the world of cyber had changed with respect to AI and how do we essentially approach this. I have one server running in this particular data. Why is it a risk? I said that is the risk, right?
The attackers today have advantage in a short run, but in a long run, I do think that AI and some of these technologies will really actually help the defenders better.
But in my view, builder's dream is fixer's paradise. Collectively, some point you have to take a pause in terms of whatever software you're building and shipping and do a clean reset of known vulnerabilities.
The biggest waste of time in cybersecurity is what's to go now?
Well, people are going to kill me. You go.
I think this is probably one of the areas where I will disagree with Sangram.
Hi guys, welcome to Control Tomorrow podcast. I'm super excited about this debate style format and what we're about to talk about. So I'd love to introduce our guest, Sangram. Please introduce yourself.
Wonderful. My name is Sangram Das. I'm VP of IT as well as CISO at Sisense. Folks who do not know Sisense, we are a data analytics platform. We make our customers look good with respect to their data. What data they have is definitely an AI play, an agentic AI play. We appear in various workflows, which helps our customers to make better and faster decisions. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Pritam, please introduce yourself as well.
Absolutely. And hi, everyone. This is Pritam. I'm head of security and IT at Poshmark. It's a retail marketplace for fashion. If you haven't checked it out, download the app and see yourself. You can get all sort of bags, handbags, and dresses and fancy items, whatever you feel like. That's our tagline. And super excited to be with Sangram and you here. Amazing discussion. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I'm super excited for it as well. And the way it's going to look like, I'm going to give you prompts about hot takes in cybersecurity. And the goal there is to either agree, disagree, or take a nuanced stance on it.
Wonderful. So we can choose to agree, disagree between us.
Yes,
Wonderful.
you can choose. And I think this style will be very helpful to all the CISOs out there that are really thinking, okay, which approach should I take, and really get that nuanced view on different issues.
Yeah.
So the first prompt that you need to get a take on is attackers are getting more out of AI than defenders. What do you think, Sangram?
Well, I personally don't have enough evidence to conclude this way or that way. But with what's happening with Mythos and we talked about very few other things happen like Fable and all that, we know these tools are going to be very dangerous in a way when it is being given to the people who have some economic interest getting into some other companies. So I think it will take some time for us to catch up, whereas these adversaries are going to come at us much faster than we are prepared for. Again, we are at a stage where we're kind of thinking what's happening in this space. How do we best prepare ourselves? The reality is this is something which we have not experienced before. We need to prepare, we need to plan, we need to act. And in fact, the time and fast time to respond is going to be the key in here. Probably you have some take because you are deep into AppSec world.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think sort of partly agree with Sangram. This is definitely an area where these capabilities are enormous in terms of like now a script kiddie can become an advanced hacker. Previously we used to worry about nation states and other things, and they will like deploy some of these things only if necessary and if the reward is really good. But the cost of attack and the ease of doing these things is dramatically being changed because of these AI models. But I do slightly differ in a sense that I think I look at it where the attackers today have advantage in a short run. But in a long run, I do think that AI and some of these technologies will really actually help the defenders better, because then we are able to use AI in much better, faster way to understand different attacks, to mitigate the attacks happening, patch vulnerabilities much more faster, and things like that. So I think in a longer run, I do feel that defenders like ourselves will have a better edge, because we can now prompt AI to have it develop secure code by default. Like we don't have to like really go and like scan vulnerabilities and like patch them and like things like that, right? So in a longer run, I think at least as people are adopting more AI in their work, in 12 months from now, 2 years from now, I think we will have better advantage as a defenders. Yeah.
I think this is very encouraging words for a lot of defenders out there, because I'm sure a lot of CISOs are in this position where they're like, okay, I feel so much pressure, but when finally having enough tooling really would help me to combat all of this negative sides of such a great technology. The second prompt is, most people entering cyber are preparing for jobs that wouldn't exist. So this is for younger people out there thinking about career in cyber.
I guess it also applies to us. I don't think the world of cyber had changed with respect to AI and how do we essentially approach this. From my view, the folks who get into cyber are essentially the breakers of the world. They tend to break and fix. You tend to be the problem solver. You don't look at past to predict future, but you look at the present and try to see the future. So there are different set of mindset needed to be in cyber, in particular even IT, right? We tend to learn and adapt much faster. Anybody out there thinks that I can get a degree and come and become a CISO is, yeah, you can, but possibly will not sustain in long run. Why? Because the attack surface is changing. The threat actors are very different. The tools given to us, both the defender and attacker, has been very different. So our world in future is going to be very different. And I'll give you a little bit of a scale, right? I already see through our empirical evidence that the amount of code we are creating has increased many times in last year or so. What does that mean? That means there are much more bugs in the code, and I don't think as a society are ready for it. We can build automation, we can try to fix it, we can try to fix the open source system, we can try to scan everything and know it and try to do that. But the volume of code we are writing and the cleanup we have to do is massive in front of us. In fact, going back to the software is eating the world, is essentially, yes, software enabled with AI is going to eat the world much more faster than what it has been. So from my point of view, if you're somebody who's getting ready to be part of cyber, you got to get the basics right. That means get a good engineering degree, get maybe computer science or any aspect of it. Go into one or two domain very deep, trying to understand how things change. In fact, learn and adapt and be ready for the future. I think this world is going to be very different with respect to cyber in next 2, 3, 5 years.
Very interesting. So pick your domain, go very deep into it, and then see where your skills would be the most useful for future cyber careers.
I think understanding the fundamentals is definitely always the case. Like you have to be very good with fundamentals, understanding the concepts and bare bones. And on the topic, I don't think this is really unique to cyber. I do think like technology overall is going to be changing all the time. I remember like when I started my career 25 years back, like we were doing coding in 4GL and Delphi was a thing that people were doing, and all of these different things which we don't hear anymore, right? A lot of the times we were like, even before that, people were coding in assembly language and C++ and things change, right? Like today, largely people don't talk about those things anymore. So even for cyber, even as any of the other technologies, things are gonna evolve. I think every 4 or 5 years, you got to be learning new things. We even like as a CISOs, like we have to still keep on learning, understand like how AI is working. Nobody was even talking about vulnerabilities or issues with skills file like last year, right? Till last year, that this concept didn't exist, but now we have to be thinking about attacks and like what's going to happen, like how do we manage that, and things like that. So what I would say for younger people coming into this field is really focus on your fundamentals, make sure you get those right, understand it's your thinking process, and like enrich yourself with the knowledge. And you got to keep learning new things every 4 5 years, or like whatever is the time cycle. Maybe with AI it will be every 2 years, God knows. But you have to be ready for that. The moment you stop learning, I think that's not going to be good for you.
And the hacker mindset,
Yes.
right? So think like someone who's trying to break in.
How to break things, yeah.
Yeah. So the conclusion from your side, Pritam, is not necessarily that jobs will change, perhaps the job description would change,
Yep.
but essentially is whatever is coming inside of that job, whatever new capabilities, new skills that you're going to learn to actually stay competitive in that new market, whether it's cyber or anything else.
Absolutely. And I think just to quote from my personal experience, like I didn't start my career in cyber, unlike a lot of seasoned CISOs here. I started as a developer. Good part of my, like almost midway till 2012 or so, I was a developer. I was like building systems. I was like doing bunch of different things. And then I got a chance to work on security side. If you know, like Apple Pay and Google Pay, those are things that I built at Visa. That really drew me into like, hey, security is interesting. Like, hey, this is an area where I can really get excited and like be happy doing what I would like to do. And that's how I jumped into it, learned a lot of stuff, did a bunch of courses, learn from experts like Sangram, and then like it's kind of very fulfilling, right? So learning to me, like it was a complete change of career, like where I started from and where I went into. So that's going to happen for people, and we need to be ready and look out for those opportunities as well.
100%. 100%. So the next prompt is, the biggest risk in 2026 isn't an attacker, it's your teams moving faster than ever.
It's a tough one. It's a difficult one. I have two roles. So I'm a security guy, like by heart, but also leading the AI enablement proliferation within the company. We got to go faster, right? So there is no compromise on that, right? Business must go faster. You want to save that new feature faster. You need to respond to your customers' demand or needs much faster. But I think that not necessarily. So I don't want to be perceived as department of no, right? So that's the bottom line. And I as a person, the way I'm designed, I typically don't say no. And folks who know me. But then how do we enable in a safe and secure manner? I think that's the bigger conversation. There are times where CISOs have to take a little bit of risk. It's okay to operate in a space which is a bit unknown, right? You may not have a perfect tooling, but you have some visibility, or you are talking to a bunch of startup founders to figure out creative way to solve the problem and use those kind of tooling, right? So for me, the risk is there. It's not just that our internal teams are taking more risk. You have to enable your business in a safe and secure manner. And end of the day, what CISO's job is very simple. You are the person who are looking at both business as well as information security risk, advising your business and your C-suite how safely you can conduct the business, right? So that's kind of the classic definition in my view. And when you take that into account, you don't say that my team is going to be riskier than the outside in, or maybe supply chain is a bigger risk, because there's nothing you can stop.
Yeah.
You have to enable, you have to keep moving, and then tactfully you have to adjust and respond to the demand.
Yeah, I think similar to that, but what I would say is today biggest risk with AI is not using AI or not enabling AI. That is the biggest risk. Like as a business, like if you are not doing these things, if you're not taking advantage of it, you're gonna get left behind, and you will not be competitive in the market. So that's to me the biggest risk. But I do agree with that. With the adoption that is going super fast, with the new things coming in, uh, the agility and the moving fast teams, that does add additional risk. So it is an area where technology is changing fast. There are new things coming up. People are not really thinking through areas what they can do. I can quote an example from a year back or so. Previously, we were trying to look at, hey, MCP servers are coming in, and like, hey, everybody wants to use them, and people were trying to, let's say, hey, showcase, hey, I can do these things. And like sometimes they were like creating MCP servers with their own identity and publishing it to entire company. Now people don't realize that, hey, now everybody has access to your identity or your emails and your stuff, right? So there are people are bound to make mistakes. Things are not very secure sometimes by default. Like as new things are coming, attacks are evolving as well. So in this world moving fast, and the expansion of like what can be done is definitely adding risk. We are seeing people who are not coders by nature or skill or profession. They are doing things, and they are not always gonna think through. Like it is hard enough for a regular developer to think about security and all of the things that can go wrong. Now imagine some product manager somewhere trying to like, hey, I can do these things and then publish my app on Livable or something else. Like it's gonna add risk, and it does have issues that are coming up with that. So I think it's incremental risk. I wouldn't categorize it as the biggest risk right now. There are definitely conventional areas that are still pose quite large threats and issues for us. But AI and the desire to move fast does add incremental risk to our organization, is what I would say.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I think we the simple way to look at it, like this is AI is here, right? I started using the word cloudify and this and that. That's real.
It's gonna be here for
right. So the sooner you adopt, sooner you say, yes, that's my new world, and I need to go and deploy techniques to maintain and manage it, is going to be interesting. What we can always come up with a bunch of top 10, a part of this OWASP thing. We write bunch of recommendation. That's great. Checklists are great. We should be, but how do we ensure that that is being implemented? And particularly when your identity is getting deep into these agentic identity, MCP identity, this connection, all like good old days, we had the connection between human identity and machine identity. You kind of can control to some degree. So it is becoming to a space where it is not controllable.
Yeah.
But I am hopeful that there will be startups who will be looking at this space and start building solutions to address some of these risk exposures in a much smarter way.
Proliferation of something.
Absolutely. So it is coming our way. There are a couple of companies I know have been thinking deeply about solving some of these challenges, which is on us.
Yeah, and luckily we are in the Bay Area where there is no shortage of this amazing companies who always come up with great ideas, and at the same time have opportunity to have exposure to heads of security like you, because then it becomes a joint initiative to solve some of these biggest problems.
Yeah, because like a lot of us have also this desire to build things. In a corporate structure, you can do so much. Like you can put agentic AI, agent to do remediation management or something of that nature, or vulnerability management. But you cannot go further and get your curiosity filled, right? So when we talk to a founder, we talk about various ideas and exchange thoughts. We also have a level of fulfillment that, yes, I'm part of a creative process, even if I'm really not the one who's doing it, someone else is doing it, and my voice is heard. So that's why I welcome some of this conversation with early stage founders.
100%. So this really ties well with the next prompt, which is AI will shrink the need for large security teams. So what's your view on that?
Well, okay, let me start. It looks like I'm kind of starting. So, well, I don't think so. It's not binary. The answer is not binary, but there are areas where we will extensively rely on AI to do things. So, I could earlier to write a memo around this incident, it used to take like 4 or 5 hours. Now I can write it in like 5 7 minutes and then curate it in like 10 minutes. Right? There are things which we can do much faster is going to be there. But on the other side, our demand on us is increasing. Like you just talked about publishing on a app on and who is maintaining, who is curating that app, right? Is it part of our product portfolio? If it is, then can we service productize it, make it part of the platform? So those conversations need people because there's a human element to this, which is called threat modeling and then managing it in a way it is part of your customer portfolio. Is it different? Like vibe coding something to look for best college to send your daughter or son is very different, or buy a new car, very different than vibe coding something which is part of your true product. So going back to earlier comment I made, we are going to create much more applications, right? There's literally the applications will evolve. Like there are someone I know who said, I'm going to build my own CRM. Of course, we can build our own CRM. Is that the business we are in? And then so many of these builders, including us, we think we got this power and we can be the builder today and we can build anything and everything. I see a world where we will soon realize or have started realizing that we got to buy certain things because we don't buy a piece of code. We buy security, governance, maintenance of the product, right? Curation of it.
Domain
Somebody
knowledge.
behind the product in terms of the deep knowledge and expertise they bring. So there'll continue to be those kind of products out there which we will be leaning on, right? That's number one. Then if you go forward and think about partners, earlier in many security teams, we thought, I'm going to just get my perfect SIEM. I'm going to do this. I'm going to build. Some will go in the direction, highly regulated, that let me put some more resources, build my own detection technology, this and that. And some will go, you know what? Partners are doing a good job. Let's lean on them. So there's a change in the industry happening. I think time will tell where we will land. But in my view, builder's dream is fixer's paradise. Right?
Yes.
So you dream to build stuff, we are going to come in to help you fix. So a company, when they go from on the degree of maturity higher and higher, people like us will come in to build discipline and order so that customers can continue to trust us. So that's how I see the CISO roles are going to be. We'll be more like a trust officer. We'll be more like enabling cells. We'll be more in front of because our customers are going to demand and continue to demand, how secure are you? Can I trust you? Are you governed? How do we engage with you? Are you forthright in terms of your communication? So those things are going to come into play, and that will be the differentiator, particularly in the SaaS space, I believe.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the areas where I will disagree with Sangram. I do think with the advancements that are happening, yes, no matter the work is going to increase, there's like the attack surface are going to be more, there will be new challenges. But I do think overall we'll see people are able to do much more with less. So teams where you previously had 20 people SOC will not be needed in future. Primarily because there are so many things that you can do now, and you can be more structured, you can be more deep, you can even do more things than what was possible before. but the world in future I see is that security teams can be smaller than what we have today. So
You think so?
yeah,
Okay, we'll
I do
see.
think so. I'm maybe more optimistic than what future holds. No, I don't know, but this is where I see that can be a reality where we can
Or
do a lot
maybe you
of
can do more
Yeah.
with the resources because there are things we were not able to fix
fix
before.
before. Yeah,
Like with this mandate coming on us, like
that's
3-day
definitely going to
mandate
be.
for
Yeah,
vulnerability.
yeah,
If somebody said that you got to fix everything within 3 days, which was, I remember the announcement came a few days back,
yeah.
we would say not possible.
Yeah.
Now CISOs can stand up and say,
It should
yeah, it's
be.
possible
Yeah.
because I'm going to scan and I'm going to tell you what to fix.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting into the into production, right? I
Yeah.
think it's hard to. I mean, well, we'll see, But I think the number of people, the so-called entry level, obviously not going to be that many needed, but experienced people are definitely needed.
Yeah. And it's again it could be cycle. We've seen like things go up, and like I think right now we are in a phase where definitely more people are needed because it's like really unknown. A lot of new things are coming up. People are even having time to digest what's the overall risk coming in. But eventually I do think that we'll have a better patterns, better ways to do things. Even the code will be generated more securely, and better guardrails that we can implement that will reduce the need for having larger security teams.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like we yet to see how it's all is going to unfold, but it would be very interesting, and there are definitely going to be some new jobs created within industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And at the same time, certain jobs, the scope of them perhaps would be shrinked. So we will see how it yet to unfold.
All right. So the next prompt is the industry rewards finding problems more than fixing root causes.
Yeah, I can go first. I think that has been the case previously, where a lot of the times where you had security teams as a not part of the core engineering, it's like considered as a separate security is a separate group, and like it's like our job is to find issues and like give it to engineering team to fix. They are the one builders and things like that. But that's changing slowly. Like if I see today in my organization, the expectation from my team I have is you're not only finding problems, but you gotta be able to fix it as well. Like you're gonna find a vulnerability, or we are implementing something as a security control. This is expectation that we can build it, we can ship it, we can send it to engineering for review, and they can just look at it and approve it or not approve it or give suggestions. So I think we want to be in that place, and that will be an expectation going forward, in my view. At least companies which are more technology forward and looking in terms of like how the future should be. Gone are the days where security is just rewarded for finding problems. You will be measured against how are you helping fix it, how are you helping prevent it happening, and be able to like support that in general for like improvement in the business.
Yeah.
I don't know, Sangram.
I mean, from my point of view, I think the very simple mandate for a CISO or CISO office is to find issues, right?
Yeah.
Which it's a control function. So your job is to do that no matter what. But then we have, particularly in ProdSec, AppSec world, we get into this shift left. We found finding issues, getting fixes. This is a continuous tussle, right? I think many leaders, particularly the ones I work with in the office of CTO, have realized that collectively, if we collaborate, we prioritize, we get more things done, right? But it changes very, very organization to organization. There are bigger organizations, regulated entities. Your KPIs and KRIs are on number of things you found. Somewhere it is the time to fix and whatnot. But as a practitioner, my personal view is you should be working very closely with the people who are really building the software and have them first try not to create those bugs. Second, if there is something, take it very seriously and fix it. And my job and my team's job is to provide that guidance in terms of the criticality, like it has to be fixed now, or can it wait for a month or two? So that's the way I would like to approach this.
Makes sense. So you call out a lot of operational efficiency that we can bring in by not just running a scanner as a security team, but looking at more holistically and working with engineering on how to fix it. Whereas you literally slightly alluded to more strategic layer that you're not looking into operational things, but how do we go and start fixing root causes?
Yeah, yeah.
One follow up: are we moving fast enough on both the areas?
Well, if I look back, probably there is a way to think about. But looking forward, we have to move really fast. And I think I would probably say we messages to my CTO friends and engineering leaders is collectively some point you have to take a pause in terms of whatever software you're building and shipping and do a clean reset of known vulnerabilities, essentially, which has been surfaced by fables of the world, and fix it, because the bigger companies will do it. They have already got access to these frontier models. They are already running. They are finding issues. Granted, the frontier models are not necessarily 100% accurate, but even if they're 70% accurate, you fix 70%, and probably you spend a lot more time on the rest 30% to prove that it is not a vulnerability. Some point that will tell. That could be like 90% accurate. It doesn't matter where they land, but if you know of an issue which can be exploited, vulnerabilities can be exploited, it is our job to fix it, right? That's like one-on-one of a commitment we give to the organization, right? And then if those numbers are so large, right, and we need to take a purge in terms of our demand from engineering to produce features or innovation, then we have to do it. I don't think we have a choice. So that's the world I see.
Yeah, I think I get it. Like, time is not on our side. It's definitely every vulnerability out there, and every issue or patch that is not applied, it's like waiting to be hacked, and it's a wild west out there. So, are we moving faster? I would say we have been quite better compared to where we were like 5 years back, but I think we can still do better job there.
But I think if you just look at last couple of years, there are a lot of changes which has happened in the industry, which was essentially these products which came out, which was tend to be the big companies' product, is helping us. Like, without naming names, there are secure containers you can use. There are secure binaries you can buy. Somebody else takes care of the cleaning and gives you the gives you the clean images, right? So that is a huge set of innovation which has happened in our space. Then on the vulnerability management side, there are partners who are able to find vulnerabilities, but same time they're giving you the fix. So the speed to fix it will be much
better.
So
Yeah.
I don't think I want to say that we are not prepared. All these innovators are thinking hard about the problem and trying to obviously create opportunity for themselves and the companies for us as well. The good news is that a lot of us are thinking really hard about these problems. The bad news is we do not know what exactly the scope of the problem, right? We have been talking about it, which is preview to few companies in the world. And when it comes, we'll have to deal with it.
Yeah. All right. Switching gears, this is Fill the Gap.
Okay.
The biggest waste of time in cybersecurity is? Who wants to go now?
Well, people are going to kill me. You go.
Yeah, this is probably a fun one. I think many things comes to my mind, but I would say third-party reviews and questionnaire. I think that's the huge waste of time that we have in our industry, and this is like something we have created for us, our own doing. It's not like an area where like somebody else dictated it. to me, it's and I think you being a B2B space, you probably are living through that as well. We got to be doing the better job of time wastage, what we do there.
Well, I mean, there are certain things you have to do to run your business, right? There is a security in terms of do the right thing, and then you do enough to manage and maintain your certification. So there is a balance between those two. I will not be very explicit in terms of this is waste of time or not, because I believe you have to manage all these stakeholders. Your controls has to operate effectively, this and that. Where I'll go is sometimes our audit friends do not give enough opportunity for a technologist to show that I can do that control better than what is written or prescribed. Sometimes I challenge my team that why not 100% compliance with, let's say, change management. I mean, if there's a rule to follow, you have to be 100% compliant. So why there is a sampling technique, right? So I think industry is going to change. Well, it has not changed. I'm trying since my PayPal days. Still they're sampling. But at some point, we will come to that 100% assurance in the controls, which can be automated. There are great companies which has come to build this continuous compliance platforms. I hope we get there. But there is definitely some inefficiencies. Those are not the kind of smart controls to have.
Yeah. All right. The next one is everyone talks about innovation, but almost nobody talks about.
So look, let's step back. We always want to create something new. That's definitely pressure on us. Build something new. If a business has to move forward, newer feature has to be built, new product has to be built, new market has to be explored, right? But we don't do the cleanup, particularly identity cleanup. And I'm sure every CISO out there must be scratching their head and thinking, is all these AI models we are using now and all those API tokens we have popped in, and who knows how many? What is being maintained, right? We have, like somebody told me, I have one server running in this particular data. Why is it a risk? I said, that is the risk, right? So I think keeping your house clean is doing the fundamentals right, like identity as a fundamental. I am a big believer in that. I think we talked about shift left, let's go and find that one thing, but that is probably not reachable. Whereas my identity is like literally the key to the kingdom. Like somebody comes through the front door, find another key or two, and goes around and does. Just from a statistics point of view, we talk about 80 to 90% of real security incidents are because of identity, right? Yeah. So we got to keep our house clean. And it's a hard thing, particularly when it is, NHI. I think human identity, you have done a fairly good job. I mean, obviously, we can debate on that. NHI, we thought we got some control. Now we got these agentic identity, right? So we are layering identity on top of identity, and these are long-lived. It goes beyond our lifetime. How do we deal with that? And then if a company which is an older company has been around for a long time, has built bunch of code, that is a different set of problems. So keep your house clean.
I think that is such a important. It sounds boring, non-sexy, but it's such an important thing. Like having stuff lying around beyond, like, okay, you've been using some vendor, you don't use it, but still the connection is there. Like nobody cleans up. Oh man, this is like such an important we can talk about AI and security and all of this stuff, but like this is like, if you don't have this right, this is going to be this is going to bite you back.
Identity is one aspect of it, but there are other basic controls like having a simple VPN solution, having a good EDR, having certain tooling which is must for the business, right? And the detection and response to that, and having a good team who is good at incident management and response. Because we think we can write a playbook and do exactly how no incident is same.
Yep. I think that's what comes to my mind. Like we are talking about a lot of innovation and other things, but ultimately security is really it is built upon people who are very strong, technical, and it's intense work. It's not easy. It's pretty draining. Anything that is coming up, like all of the areas that, whether you are on AppSec side, like doing threat modeling and understanding how things are going on, like it's your job really to think beyond what could go right, what can go wrong. So I think, to me, it's an intense, draining, and tiring job. So the toll that it takes on humans, as we go through daily lives and what we do, I think that's probably an area where we don't talk enough about that.
Okay. So nail the basics. Some aspects may be boring or non-sexy, but that matters more.
Matters a lot.
And culture, human, mindset, training, and etc. All right. So the next one is the best way to embed security earlier is to.
Best way to embed security is to do the right thing. Everybody wants to do the right thing. Let's just kind of go with that statement, because I don't think that anybody gets up in the morning and say that I'm going to write lousy code, or I'm going to just not assign the right group or identity to somebody. I think we all intend to do the right thing. The challenge comes in is, do we have the right skills? Sometimes it's a skills problem. Sometimes it is how motivated is the team. So that's why I want to switch a little bit to the human side of the cybersecurity. Your team needs more protection than what you typically think. When I use the word protection, is two things. One is distraction, which comes our way. There's a lot of distraction comes our way in terms of demand of us. And number two is clarity in terms of thinking when things are not right. Like, could be incident happening. Oh, I can do this now. Let's go tackle this step by step, right? So, and then the third thing I always talk about is you have to let your team fail and learn, hopefully not from big mistakes, but learn through doing things. And learning in terms of sharing and collaboration should be part of your culture. From a engineering standpoint, I also respect my engineering friends a lot, because they have the same desire that, like, there is a story I'll tell you. There was a particular place where we had a trouble with one of those auditors, and they were like, your team it sucks, right, on something. I said, let me tell you, this person did not do the work because his girlfriend was waiting downstairs and this ticket came in the last minute. He actually did the work, but did not update the ticket. So do you want me to go and punish this person for not updating the ticket? I'm not going to do that, right? The real work was done. So you have to also understand the human aspect of people, so that as long as we get things done and we have a way to get to the end result, we should be happy with that. If somebody is not responding, that's a different problem. But in a normal scenario, all of us would like to do the right thing.
Yeah, I think, hard to top that amazing story, by the way. But the way I think about is the best way to embed security is make it invisible. You as a security person, if you are there in front of everything, I think something is not right. You got to build security in a way that it's just there, it works, but it's not in front and center of everything, because ultimately companies are there to do business. Like, security is not the first thing, unless, like, back in Visa we had like security as top number one goal for everybody in the company, including business. But otherwise, like, all the other normal companies, they're doing business, and that's like really important. Like, how do we build features, products, what do we do next, etc. I think as a security in IT, our job is to be there, provide enough guardrails, make sure like you are building those patterns, and ensuring that we don't suffer any data breach or anything, but be there and be invisible. That would be the best way to embed.
Very good point.
Yeah.
It's more like great UX. It's there, it works. You don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. Or you don't have to create 200-page manual how to use this product. If you do that, then like your UX sucks, right? Like, that's.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So the next topic is around AI. Within next, let's say 3 to 5 years, most of the security incidents will be generated by AI related work.
Well, define incident. So if you just look at the large incidents out there, I don't think it will be just AI. It will be some hole, maybe a vulnerability, maybe identity, maybe a on-patch system, maybe something which is kind of open in the public, like ports and this and that. But the velocity will be different. The AI will be used to do it faster.
Yep.
So time to detect, time to respond is going to be very different for us. So AI has not really created a bunch of newer areas of security, like from a domain standpoint. Like there's the same front door camera, keys, BAM, this and that. But it is the speed which is going to be very different. So for us, we need to adapt to the speed of attack which comes our way because of AI.
Makes sense. So no net new categories of issues, but the
I mean,
velocity
we'll
and
come up with some
quality.
category.
There will be new
Yeah.
categories of issues as we are seeing AI is like changing the technology. Like, I mean, you can think about it like prompt injection wasn't existing before, right? Like, so there will be things that will come up as a new ways of attacking. I do think there will be slight increase in terms of attacks due to AI. In terms of like there are two ways to think about it. Like whether AI is being used to attack something, yes, that's gonna definitely increase. I mean, we are already seeing evidence of that. And are you yourself being more exposed, more vulnerable because you are adopting AI? And I do think there will be slight increase in that as well. We are seeing again it goes back to like speed of adoption, and everybody wants to move faster. I think
We'll do mistakes on the way.
we will do mistakes on the way. Cloud code, source code was all leaked somehow. There's like again issues that will happen because of what we're trying to do with AI. There will be increase, but again, I think going back to my previous point, I'm optimistic over a period of 2 years or so, we will have better controls, better ways to mitigate that. In short run, we will see more issues.
All right.
Yeah.
On to the last prompt.
Mm-hmm.
The next generation of CISOs will be more fluent in business before they get fluency in threats.
So, well, in my view, there are 3 tiers of CISO, right? CISOs in startup is very different. We are a builder. CISOs who are growth companies is very different. CISOs in the top-notch Fortune 500 is very different. All 3 will have a different set of skills, but I personally believe the grounding years for a CISO would be deep technical expertise on few domains. I talk about 8 domains in CISSP. If you're good at 4, then you get a CISO role. I mean, that's my kind of rule. Some people say 4 is too much. You can have a couple of domains and you can then get there. But then you got to be business centric. Because if you don't understand business, if business doesn't feel like talking to you, getting to the answer they need, you could be the fantastic technical person, doesn't matter. You will not be able to stay in a leadership role. And the other thing to think about is, can CISOs be business enabler? Like, can we literally be the one bringing business in? Particularly in tech companies and software companies, answer is yes, because your job is to provide that level of trust. So when the customer comes in, they look at many things. They also look at you as an individual and a brand, and how capable you are, how committed you are, how authentic you are is going to be something companies are looking at. So I think it's a customer-driven need by C-suite board to have CISOs who can manage and maintain those relationships with the customers. And you as a CISO need to understand what your business needs and how do you speak that language and what bothers your customer, and can you provide insights into those so that they feel that you are the right person to do the job. So it's a combination of both.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think hard to disagree. This is like 100% spot on. Where as you go into leadership, I think it's really important to be aware of all of the things going around you, like what kind of things are important for the business, how it will grow, what are the challenges happening. And being able to like not only understand the business. I think Sangram hit on a really good point, like being able to talk in that language and understand that really also helps you to clear your thinking. Like it's like not always skies falling and like everything has to be fixed now. Like it helps you to understand, hey, what are the kind of things that are important, so it will clarify your thinking. But B, it's also sometimes if sky is falling, you're able to explain that to the counterparty in much more better way. Hey, if you don't fix this thing, this 5 million of your revenue may be coming from new contract or whatnot, this is at risk and this is what we have contractually with this customer, right? Like having put that perspective as to why some of these things are important for business is something that you will be able to articulate better. So in both ways it helps, understanding the business and like understanding your peers and colleagues and what's top of mind and how you can help. It shows and goes in a long way, like, hey, this is something you are coming in to really not fear mongering, but trying to understand and explain things a lot better. So it definitely goes a long way. I think just being technical is super important in security world, but that can only take you up to certain level. Like that can be really great, like you can be a good IC and you can be good at your job, but not being business savvy is not an option for CISO. It has to be.
And if I can add one more thing. So CISOs are literally the people who are interacting with every department in the company.
Very
Right,
cross-functional.
from
Yeah.
go to market to post sales to legal
to product and
to product to engineering to IT to identity. So if you just pick the departments, probably one executive who is touching most of the department in some way or form. And traditionally we have been viewed as a control function, or maybe get the certification person, right? Help me sell or get in front of, right? I think that's changing because you're becoming a trusted partner with these folks. And you are the risk advisor to each of these. So should we take this on or not, right? So that is a delicate balance. And maintaining that balance is you got to be very clear in your mind and in your articulation of problem and solution, right? So every conversation should end at a point where both parties must agree to execute on something in a good tone. Because sometimes we get into these technical details and then we think, how do we solve it? But if we don't get to a point how together we're going to solve it, there is a problem, right? So being this cross-functional nature of the role, you are literally influencing in some way, you are inspiring others to execute in certain way. So that's kind of very, I always say that, like you get many roles in the companies to do, but this is a role where you can literally inspire the people around you because they look at you as someone trusted and someone can be leaned on.
That's a great point. I think internally you have very broad visibility. But then if you start applying communication, business, and that mindset, you can start opening up new tab or start building security features that are differentiators, especially in B2B space.
Yeah, true.
All right. So closing on this, thank you so much for your time and candid discussion on a lot of hot topics. Reflecting on last 45 minutes, 1 hour, any topic where you initially disagreed, but discussion opened up your mind and you change your stance?
Well, I kind of agree most of the things you said.
Yeah.
The reason being is I might personally believe in consensus building, someone trying to build consensus in the audience. But then if you only look at the work we do, it's not binary. It's not this or that. It is how do you adapt to the world around us? How do you respond to the world around us? Particularly with changing threat landscape, particularly interest by some company, some threat actors to monetize some information out there. There's a lot of economic incentives. People sitting somewhere in the world are trying to come after us, and we are the defenders. We are the protectors. So how best to prepare and defend and it is the best. One thing we don't talk about is how many incidents you prevented. It's
Yep.
hard to show, how to prove, but I wish I can get to a metrics where I could say that there's many things we prevented by doing these things, these investments. I think something to kind of, and particularly in AI-enabled world, how that's going to manifest is something I'm always thinking about.
Yeah, this has been very fascinating discussions. Thanks for all the questions as well, and definitely quite a lot. I do agree with Sangram as well. All the things that are going on. One thing that I'm super excited is like this world is going to be a lot better, I think, for security. I'm very optimistic. AI is going to be a lot enabler in long run for us, and it's up to us like how do we make best use of it. So I learned quite a lot as well from the boss.
Come
He's
on.
he's amazing, and then particularly this point was very good. Like we talk about like how many incidents happen and like what went wrong, but like a lot of times where we saved business, like it's just assumed like, hey, if no news is good news, and then
We don't celebrate those kind of
we don't
things.
celebrate those things. So that's definitely something to think about. Really good.
And let's go. Let's do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the optimism here.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.